Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Production Line with me, Murphy. We are picking up where we left off. I've reloaded the game and I've spotted a couple of little bugs. The designer has been made aware of it. First one is scenario objectives. We now have the tight budget scenario objectives rather than the 3,000 car budget objectives. I'm hoping he'll be able to sort that out, otherwise we'll just work towards the 3,000 within the 10 days, and we'll just do it as a personal thing. And also go to look at the cars. Well, actually there's no premium on there, so we need to whack that back up again before we actually start the game playing. Okay, so also we need to look at our research. I'm going to take off the door specialization and I'm going to add chassis specialization, because that will open up the ability to have the axles separate, the fuel tank separate, and the undercarriage separate. Because after we've after we have split out this body frame, our next bottleneck is going to be the chassis assembly, because we're looking at 12 minutes for that. And if we look at everything else, so body frame, that's 20 minutes, that's 4 minutes, that's 6 minutes. Our paint, I think that is 14 minutes. Okay, but we have got 2 lines still running here, so that is something we can look at later. We've also got 22 minutes for here, but we go down this route, we are looking at a maximum, I think it's 6 minutes, 7 minutes, which is the steering assembly, which we can split out, of course. Then we go down to our accessories, so obviously that is 13 minutes, and all this lot is a lot shorter. So yeah, we've got some work to do for us. Okay, so we're nearly there, nearly on the hour, and it'll go about 50. There we go, perfect timing. So we can now set these all out. Okay, let's just pause that, and let's fit body, so body frame, so fit shell. So I'm going to drop that about here. We're going to go to hood. There's nothing else that we can actually do on this at this stage between the hood and the shell, and also the trunk. So we're going to put those straight in with no gaps. Okay, and we now want our bumpers. Now this can be split out, so we're going to give ourselves a little bit of a gap. So there will do. So we can have 2 fit bumpers. Fit trim, again, I think it's fit trim, yeah, it's a single, so there's no issue for gaps there. And arches, we can have multiple on here, so let's just give ourselves a little bit of a space. And then we have fit vent. Perfect. Alright, so that's everything on there. Put in our conveyor. Straight down. Straight down. Then we're going to be coming back on ourselves to here. Okay, so that is going to clear this whole section so quickly. It's unbelievable. So let's just get this in place. We're going to go straight down. Nope, I want you straight down the conveyor. Even if I have to do one at a time, I'd rather that than having a there we go, perfect. Right, we've got 11,000 now. At this point, I don't want to take out another loan, and if I'm not too careful, I will run out of money. So we've already proven how ineffective this whole system is here. So this costs us, how much does it cost? Fit body, that's 175,000. We've got 11,400. Let's see how much we get back. Ooh, not that much. Not that much. I think it's about half of it. So we now also need to remove that one, and we've then got this system running here. Alright, so that's given us a bit of money to play around with, so we can afford to continue working without spending loads and loads of money. Right, also I'm thinking that while that's going on, we'll remove these because this will give us a slight bit of credit. But at the same time, it just cleans it all up for me. Perfect. Right, okay. So our next task, or our next section which we want to actually open up, is the chassis, so that we can actually speed that process up. Because as you can see already, everything's gone. You know, there's no cars waiting. We did bin one, but do you know what? It's a case of it's still, you know, not great. I mean, I could upgrade the robots so we could go from 12 minutes to knock off 10%, so, you know, bounce to 11 minutes something, but we still would not get it running as smoothly as we could. So at the moment these guys are receiving everything, and I'm actually going to remove this one out as well, because after that car is gone I don't need him there. So I'm going to remove that out, and I'm going to remove this section just to tidy things up, just because I don't like, let's just pause that, because I don't like things not neat. Right, okay, so we've just completed our chassis specialization, so we can now have the front and rear axles, we can have the axles fitted separately to the fuel tank and the undercarriage, which will speed the process up. So while we are in the process of knocking things out, I'm thinking that now is the time probably to remove this chassis assembly. So you're gone, and we're going to put in our own. So we're going to have fit axles, we'll then have fit undercarriage, and then we'll fit fuel tank. Now the idea of just splitting it down like that at this moment in time is so that when we can break down the actual axles into two separate units, we can then actually see how quickly we can get this running. So we're down to 80 odd thousand. We need a new research. Tell you what, let's just keep it on pause. So this is now 6 minutes. That's 2 minutes. I think the fuel tank is 4 minutes. Okay. So we're now going to be having a backlog to do with drying, I believe, because that's the longest section that we've got. So I'm going to go for where are you? Faster drying. Now we've got 3 sections on here that can actually improve drying speed. So we'll go through each one and see what we can do with that 14 minutes there. Right, let's get going. So we've got a nice little backlog of semi-finished cars. We're now starting to have a little issue with fitting doors, which we can segregate and split up into multiple areas. Fit roof, I think we can also play around with that. Let me have a quick scan just to remind myself. Actually, we can't do it with the roof. It's a case that you can have multiple. Yeah, it's only make roofs. We can go into door specialization, which we will do actually next, because that appears to be causing a little backlog. Just so that we're not wasting any time on research, because as you can see there, that they're waiting for resources constantly, whereas these other locations, they've got enough resources in the immediate vicinity for them to actually build and then gets restocked up again so quickly. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so that's our bottleneck in the sense of mainly waiting resources, and then our finishing the drying finish. I mean, we can actually put a second one in. It's not an issue at all. And the same here, we can put a second one here so that we can actually speed this process up once things start getting a bit more backlogged. Okay, so you're waiting for resources. So that is our biggest problem now. Alright, so this is the, where is it? Min spec, yes. So I'm going for 1,000 cars of min spec, which is why I want to actually play this scenario. So we've got 6% there now. That's good. So we've sold 60 cars, I think. Cool. Right, let's just speed this up a bit, and we'll see how we get on. Now, I'm not really fussed at the moment because we do have this whole paint shop here that's currently not being used. The cars are going the fastest route, which is through here, even though they've got a bit of a wait. So I think once everything has backlogged, cars will start going through this whole section altogether. Now, the going on to the research, we're doing this faster drying. Now, that will only work on these 2 dryers. You cannot upgrade the actual paints at all. You can only do is give that its predictive stock. So that is something to consider. Now, we could, thinking about it, how much does this cost? Let's go to our slots. Paint. So that costs us 50,000. We could look at putting a second finish drying in to speed that up. And how much does that actually cost us? That costs us 1 employee, demand power of 300, whereas that is 3 employees and 75. Do you know what? Let's take that out now. Okay, let's remove this. Okay, so we've got our finishing. Let's pop another one in. And there we go. So we can also look at having a second one here. Rotate you around. Should we need it? We can wait and see. Alright, so where are we at? Getting close to there. Got a nice little backlog. We can now remove this section. It's no longer needed. Gives a bit more money back. And we can see that this is only just... Well, it's not actually. We could actually upgrade these. So we've got 6 minutes 45. We can knock 10% off that. You know what, I would rather leave it because we're not actually getting through all this lot quick enough because of this fit doors, which we'll deal with in a moment. So what we're doing at the moment, we're doing 4 cars per hour, and we're running most of the time. I say most of the time, a significant part of the time, but we are waiting for the next vehicle quite a lot because we have got a lot of slots on here. That is unneeded. Now, at this point, I think I'm going to take out the fit engine and also the fit accessories and force cars down the quicker routes. Okay. Just so that we can actually do 2 things. We can actually reduce our costs. There we go. We can upgrade those now. So we've got upgrade, faster drying, so it's going from 14.12 to 12.13, so we'll go with that. Okay, and we'll also go with the faster drying over here as well, so that should start moving through a lot quicker. We're now working on the door section, so that's good. We'll remove that there so nothing goes in that spot, and I'll remove all this lot. Okay. Alright. Alright, that can go now. Same with that whole row. Right, we will need a second dryer here in a moment. Because what we're down to 13 minutes there, and we are 10 minutes there. or 11 minutes. But this is my biggest problem next. So that's got to this section here now as a backlog. Okay, so there we go, perfect timing. So we can now split down the door specification. So let's just pause that for a second. So coming off here, we can then let's put in fit doors. No, not roof, fit doors. There we go. So fit door panels. So we can come this direction. Fit windows. Nothing else there. No. Yes, we can do no gaps. And fit wing mirrors. So we can have that going straight through. Perfect. And let's get our conveyors back in. Perfect. Right. So that should start sending cars down here once all the parts are in, and that should be a lot quicker route. We're also looking at our next section. So it's not necessarily going to be starting to build the parts in-house. We just need to look at what else we can do to speed things up. So cab special or dashboard specialization is a new one, so we could look at that. We could look at doing the axles next, or the steering or wheels. So there's a few there left. We've got faster drying here. We could have additional robots, or we could look at, say, actually, do you know what? We need faster conveyors and faster importers. Now there's 700 research points, whereas these are 750, 1200. So I think from my mindset, I'm going to go for faster importers. Right. I'm not going to do predictive stock just yet, because the idea is separating everything is so that we don't actually have that. So I'm going to go for faster conveyors. I'm not fussed about the speed of the actual conveyor for the cars at this moment in time. Alright, so we'll go with that one for the time being, just so we've got some research going. Alright, and how many cars are we doing now? We're 6 per hour. So that will make things a little easier. Chassis, so we can look at that. I mean, do you know what, actually that looks like it's probably going to be a better option, isn't it, really? Let's go to where are you? There we go. Go for that first, because we need to speed up this process here first. And do you know what, I'm thinking it's probably time that we actually bring in another importer. There we go. Because we have got a lot down here to deal with. Now, this system here is taking 6 minutes 45, and we've got that down to 2 minutes 22, 2 minutes 22, 2 minutes. So I'm going to remove that section there. So all cars are forced down this route, and then this can be removed as well. Okay, so we can now see our backlog is caused by these dryers. So let's put in another drying. Now I haven't left myself enough space there, but if I drop you here or here, or even just there. There we go. So we can then upgrade that one as well. Perfect. And that'll just speed the cars through down to this line. And we should start getting some sort of backlog here. Let's remove this lot, just to keep things neat and tidy. There we go. Okay. So we're nearly there on the axles. Perfect timing. Let's just pause that and let's go and put that in. So the axles. So now we can actually make the fit front and fit rear axles. So this is the bit that's taking the time. There's 6 minutes odd. So we can go fit front axles, fit rear. We can keep them right next to each other. So that is putting the axles and the drive shaft on. So we can put that in next. Okay, so that takes all this lot down to 2.5 minutes, 2.25, and 2 minutes. So we can basically just say, right, okay, you're going this way, back, and round. And we can just see how quickly everything is made. Oops. Would help if I actually put the conveyor system in. There we go. So bear in mind this is only 2 minutes throughout this operation. We should get a massive backlog quite quickly, and this fit axles can be removed. So we already got backlog here. So, as far as I'm concerned, I can go now. It's keeping up with these. And it's less money to spend. Okay, cool. We could have just put it in there, but I didn't. Anyway, right. Okay, so we are at the stage of going for faster conveyors. We have produced, and let's have a look, easier to look at this. So 14% of the cars. 50 hours during a single. Okay. Yeah, that's what I want. So we're at 14% with no extras. So I think what we'll do is we'll leave it there for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you've liked what you've seen, hit that subscribe. And until next time, that's Murphy out.